Gonna try something. If my poor processor speeds get in the way of this, I apologize.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the What in the World is Going On in the DFL show. This week's episode's gonna feature Devin sucks? 1 in 12, Jared is 2 and 0? Our past champion just scored 59 points? And Hedgie is good? Huh? Alright, yeah, that's about enough of that. I think you get the general idea. What in the crap? I'm sorry, that's not where we're going to start. I apologize. Let's start off by dispelling all this thing right here. No, it's not dirt. It's a bro stash. Live it. Learn it. Love it. It's me. Alrighty. Around the DFL, BG has announced that RG3 is on the trading block, so if you need a quarterback and you have running backs or wide receivers or other things to provide for him, go ahead and check out his thread that he set up. There's some intense negotiation going on there. I'm sure you'd like to get in on some of that action, so be sure to check that out. If you have not voted on one of two very important issues, you need to get on there and do that now. One being the DFL's new Holy Grail, two being the the location and time frame of next year's draft. There's no excuse. We're going to get in there on a weekend like it should be, and we're going to make this next draft even better than this past one, which was pretty awesome. So let's get in on that. Let's make sure it happens and is all squared away well before we even have to think about anything last minute or anything like that. Alright, on to Week 2's games. Holy buckets. I think we might as well just start off with Devin versus Jared. Wow, Devin, he didn't just do bad. He did really bad. He was the worst in the DFL. He finished worse than Nico. So, wow. Jared had a nice little week. He's staying up there in points, and he's just plugging along. So good on you, Jared, for that. I think you'll have some tougher tests coming, but Jared's off to a very strong 2-0 start. He's already doubled his win total from last season, so I guess this season's already a success. So good for you there, Jared. Justin's game versus Nico went largely as expected. Justin plodded along. He didn't have a great week. He didn't have a bad week. Everybody did their part, especially Reggie Bush. That's proving to be a very good pick for him. If the Miami offense continues to run first, second, and third through Reggie Bush, then Justin might have found himself one of the best picks of his lifetime there. So we'll see how that develops. But Justin took care of business easily against Nico. I had a real crummy luck game, but I kind of expected that. Much like Hedgie has Jesse's number for whatever reason, Kevin seems to have mine. Every single week that I play him, something weird happens. In this case, it was that Aaron Rodgers decided to only score 9 points. Very cool. Against the vaunted Chicago Bears pass defense. Whatever. So I have lost 2 games by a cumulative 10 points at this point. Oh well, that'll be alright. We'll get there. The most incredible game of the week was, in my opinion, between Allen and Hedgie. This was a very telling game. Wow, Hedgie just wire to wire, up and down his lineup. The only player that didn't score very high for him was Jay Cutler. Other than that, he was just killing him all over the field this game, and he scored almost 100 points more than Allen. Wow. Fear this team. I don't. He scored 127 points, boys, and his quarterback gave him 1. Wow. Wow. And Allen, yeah, that's not very good when you score 59 points there, champ. Hopefully, well, I don't know, man. We'll have to. More's going to come on what's the real Allen. And the GOT dubs between Jesse and BG. A lot of interesting factors went into the final score of this game. It was actually cumulatively the lowest scoring game of the week, but it was very close. 8 points separated the two teams, and Jesse, I would be remiss if on Jesse's behalf I did not announce that he feels robbed in this game based on the fact that the San Diego Chargers allegedly scratched Antonio Gates after the game started, had him as probable before the game, and scratched him after opening kickoff. So tough luck for Jesse on that one, especially considering he had pretty much every single other wide receiver on his team would have scored more than 8 points, and Jesse would have ended up winning. So BG could make a lot of the same arguments about starting some of the guys on his bench. However, bottom line, BG, he was quoted as saying he feels really good about the fact that even on an off week he can manage to pull out a win. You can take that for what it's worth, because if he would have played pretty much anybody except Jesse, he would not have won. However, he did play Jesse, and so he was able to pick up the win. So we can't take that away from him. Quick checkup on the DFL prediction challenge. Kevin is the low man on the totem pole right now with the DFL prediction challenge. He went 2-3 last week. Meanwhile, me, Jesse, Jared, and Alan are all log jammed with 3-2. Feel free to get in on that action, and if you are just getting in, you'll have a little bit of ground to make up on everybody who's already started, but I think it'll be a fun little side pot that we've got going on all season. So I'll make sure to have that posted before tomorrow night's game starts, and get in on that action. Alright, week 3 is going to be a very interesting week, I would say. I have been looking at these games, and there's a lot of very evenly matched games here. I'm going to start with the one interdivisional game between Kevin and Devin, the Kevin and Devin Bowl. I'm really intrigued to see how this game ends up. Devin is 0-2, and he really needs a win. He's got a decent team, and really the thing that killed him last week was just very underachieving wide receiver play. Greg Jennings was out. That really hurt him. Brandon Marshall could not post any numbers. I think he scored 3 points for him. Santonio Holmes didn't start Santonio Holmes, and that hurt him. It just was not a very good week on the wide receiver front for Devin, and that's really, I think, what ended up costing him a lot of points. Meanwhile, Kevin just plods along. He's 1-1. He's in that log jam at the top right now, early going in the blue, and I think Kevin has up and down a very solid team. And the thing that Devin lacks, good, strong wide receivers, is actually Kevin's strong suit. I think Eli and Peyton Manning, the Manning matchup is going to be kind of interesting. We'll see if Eli really is in this game still taking the mantle that his brother left behind a couple of years back. And I think he will, and I think based on a favorable quarterback matchup, because almost everything else is a push, based on a favorable quarterback and wide receiver matchups, I'm going to give the nod to Kevin in this game, starting Devin off to an unprecedented 0-3 start. We'll see if he maybe ends up missing the playoffs after a really tough start. The next game is going to be another very interesting game. Hedgie is going to try to prove that back-to-back 100-point outings was no fluke, and my friends, I'm going to tell you, it was no fluke. Fear this man. If you remember nothing else from this episode, remember, fear this man. Hedgie he has a real team on his hands, and as long as Fred Jackson stays hurt, and he's got Arian Foster with CJ Spiller there, boy howdy. Boy's got Victor Cruz, Julio Jones holding down the fort on his wide receiving core. Fear this team. I'm very, very intrigued. Jesse's got an interesting decision to make as far as who he's going to start. I don't think he's going to make the mistake of waiting on Antonio Gates, and so if he's smart, I think he starts Dwayne Bowe, which makes this a very interesting wide receiving matchup. Almost a push across the board on this matchup, but I really think powered by a really strong up and down team and big playmakers on his team, I think Hedgie ekes out a win because for some reason he seems to have Jesse's number anyway, and he takes the early lead, comes out 2-0, and increases his level of dominance in the early going this season. My game versus Allen, I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have another 9-point debacle. I'm going to get points out of both of my running back starters this week, which is something I have not done on either of the first 2 weeks, in which I only lost by a cumulative 10 points. So, backed by, I think, strong starting lineups all the way up and down, I think I'm going to eke out my first win against Allen, dropping him to 1-2 and raising me to 1-2, creating Hedgie on top at 2-1 in our division, I'm predicting, with everybody else at 1-2. We've got BG against Nico. Not much to say about this game. I don't think it'll be very interesting. I think BG is just better. I think BG will sleepwalk to at least a 20-point victory. Anything less than a 20-point victory, I would say, should be disappointing for BG. Easily the game of the week this week is for early dominance in the red division. Excuse me, boys, live TV, what can I say? Where upstart Justin is going to look to prove that this is a real team, this is his most complete team, and put Jared down softly with I really like Justin's team here. I think that up and down he's just too strong. Jared might have a little bit stronger of a running back core because I like Ray Rice better than Run DMC, but Reggie Bush is a beast right now. Jared's wide receiving core is hurt by the fact that Wes Welker seems to be in the doghouse in New England right now, and Justin just has a lot of really great big play options at his wide receiving core, and Andre Johnson, Mike Wallace, and Miles Austin. So for that reason, I'm going to give a strong nod to Justin in this game, put him in the driver's seat in the red division this year, and it'll just be a really interesting thing to see who's gonna be stronger at the end between him and BG. Well, boys, that's all I got for this week. Make sure that you vote on both of the polls that we have going on as far as where's the draft, are we going to do this trophy, and then if you want to get in on the DFL prediction challenge, it's not too late, and I would encourage you to, even though you all know you're going to lose to me anyway. That seems like that's about it. We'll see you next week.